Hey guys, CJ Real coming to you here on December 5th, 2024. Hope everybody's having a good week out there. Alright guys, don't worry about anything because nobody is above the law. That's what Joe Biden's been telling us. Joe Biden's been telling us that nobody's above the law. You know, when Donald Trump, when they fabricated, used the government, used the law system, used every government apparatus illegally to contrive and fabricate and offer up phony evidence to entrap Donald Trump. But Joe Biden gets to do all those crimes, don't worry, because nobody's above the law, see? It's just amazing. And here's the thing that gets me on this is we got a bunch of conservatives. I don't know if they're really conservatives, but they're falling in line with Trump and the conservative movement, the Make America Great Again movement, and a big part of that movement is that the American people want justice. And then you're going to get people like Phil Labonte, Gary Frenchie. I don't know if Joe Rogan said this. I don't know. I can't really think of their names, but I've heard at least 20 Trump supporters, at least 20, maybe even more. I've heard it so much I'm getting sick of hearing it. And you have all these people that's supposed to be on board with MAGA, Make America Great Again, and the American people want justice, and then they got the gall to sit up here and say, hey, look, I understand if it was my son, I would pardon him too. Well, then you're no better than Joe Biden is. So then these people say that they would pardon their own son, and that's not a good look for you. If you stand on morals, ethics, integrity, and that's what you believe, then you believe that through and through. You don't believe that except when it's your son involved. No. What you do is you don't allow the son's bad actions to drag the whole family down and the country down. What you do is you try to get them back built up on the right path to having the same moral standards that you have and bring him back up into a world of integrity and morals here. See, this is a bad look. This is total hypocrisy. I think you're going to regret you ever said this before. First of all, they get up here and they act like Hunter Biden is 14 years old. Like Hunter Biden didn't really know what the hell he was doing. You know, he was this youthful misfit that, you know, didn't have a brain in his head, that didn't know that smoking crack was wrong and buying guns illegally was wrong and sleeping with whores and prostitutes and driving down the road 170 miles an hour while you're smoking crack and all that. Like he's just some poor old innocent guy. He didn't know any better. No, the guy's 50-something years old. He knew what he was doing. It was all premeditated crime. Each one of the drug deals, I think Glenn Beck did a video where there's like 190 crimes that Hunter Biden committed on those laptops. And somebody else said it was like 460 crimes. But he didn't know any better. You know what? If it was my son, see, this is these conservatives, these MAGA people that are voting for Trump, that voted for Trump, and they're out here pumping up Trump. And then they say, well, if it was my son, I would pardon him too. No, that ain't how it goes. You know, when I was growing up in the old days, my mama told me, hey, if you go in that store and you steal something, and the police come in there and catch it, well, I'm going to let them take you on to damn jail because you need to learn a damn lesson. That's what people that love you do. And the first time I went to jail when I was 16 years old, because my mama coming up, she always taught me, if you hang around a bunch of hoods, you hang around a bunch of criminals, you hang around a bunch of dope heads, then you will get in trouble, even though you're not doing nothing wrong yourself. But just hanging around them, they're going to do something wrong, and you're going to get caught up in the fray. And sure enough, when I was 16 years old, that's what happened. I'm not going to go into the whole story, but me and my brother wasn't doing nothing wrong. But we had a guy with us that was a known freaking drug head that was basically, we was giving the guy a ride. We didn't know he was going to go up here and start a bunch of trouble, but he did. But since we gave him the bribe, hey, we got arrested. And my mom came up to the jail that day, and she said, well, I told you about hanging around these little criminal youth misfits here, that if you hang around with them, then that's how your life's going to go. And she said, I tell you what, you can sit in this jail cell tonight and think about that, and then maybe I'll come get you out tomorrow. And why did she do that? She did that because she loves us. She did that because she wanted to teach us how to do the right thing. And that's what a parent does when you love your kid. You don't run in there, you know, I could say, hey, if Joe Biden let Hunter be sentenced, let's say Hunter got sentenced and he got sentenced to 8 months and then 3 years probation. Okay, let the guy sit in there for a month or two, let him learn his lesson, then pardon him. That's what a loving parent would do. You don't just go out here and say, oh, son, even though it's all over the laptops and all over the whole nation and the world about how you blatantly broke the laws of the land without any concern for your fellow American and the people you were doing drugs with and, you know, having sex with and all this. Oh, I know you didn't mean to. I know you didn't mean to smoke that crack. I know you didn't mean to do 170 miles an hour down the road. I know you didn't mean to, you know, call up those 10 prostitutes last week and have sex with them. No, that wasn't you, Hunter. That wasn't you. And so what we're going to do is we're going to tell Hunter that it ain't his fault. That it's the Republicans, the aggressive Republicans' fault. That's, you know, wanting revenge on the communist Democrats. And they've steered their sights. They couldn't find nothing on Joe Biden. They couldn't find nothing on all the other criminal communist Democrats. So they put all their anger out on Hunter to target him and get him. And we're going to tell Hunter, that's okay, you didn't do nothing wrong. That's the message we're sending to Hunter. And then we're going to go out here and tell the whole world that, oh, my son's an angel. He didn't never do any of this. Everything you've seen on the videos, the communist Democrats love to tell you that what you've seen on the video, you really didn't see. That wasn't Hunter. He wasn't smoking the crack. He wasn't driving 170 miles an hour down the highway. It's all bullshit. And I am disgusted. I am distraught and sort of pissed off at all these people that claim to be MAGA, that claim to want justice, that claim to want to have a country of laws, and then they come out and they say, well, if it was my son, I get it. I would pardon him too. Well, you're not a very good damn father then. Hey, okay, you know, if the kid was 13 or 12 and he did one or two little things that was wrong, okay, I get it. You might would pardon him. But to do 180, 190 crimes over their 10 years, and you would pardon your son? You know, if the kid was 13, you say, hey, judge, can we get a pardon here? Because, you know, we only did a couple of things wrong, and he don't know any better because he's 13. And I tell you what, you give him into my custody, and when we get home, I'll make sure he fully understands that this behavior is not going to be tolerated. And then, if he does anything else, judge, then he's all yours, see. But there's got to be a lesson in here, and there's no lessons in here. And all these so-called conservatives that say they would pardon their son that did 190 crimes, they would do the same thing because they're a good dad. Well, you're not a good dad. You're full of crap. That's not what a good dad does. A good dad looks at his son and say, hey, you did wrong and now you got to pay the price. To society. Just because nobody, I mean, we don't know. All these people here we're doing drugs with, we don't know if somebody OD'd on these things and got mentally or some kind of physically harm for the rest of their life. Maybe they didn't die, but maybe they, you know, something happened to them because they almost OD'd. And it's a crime against society. That's what the law is. And that's why there's a penalty that you have to pay to society. You know, if you go out here and you purposely run over somebody's dog and kill it, and then you go to court, and, you know, let's say you were intoxicated when you did it, and maybe you don't remember it. And then you feel so bad in your heart that you go to the owner of the dog and beg with them and plead with them and say, oh, please forgive me. I really, really am sorry that I ran over your dog and killed your dog, and, you know, can I get you another dog, and this and that and the other. Show your remorse, show your care, your concern, right? Make it right. And the owner of the run over dog says, okay, I'll tell you what, I forgive you. You know, I appreciate you getting me another dog. I really did this and that and the other. You know, in fact, I like you so much we can be friends now. You know, I don't hold anything against you. Well, you still got to go to court, and you still got to face up to the criminal acts that you did out here in the public on the society. And you got to pay the penalty for that. It don't matter that the owner forgave you, right? It don't matter that you made it right. Hopefully a good person would make it right and give him another dog, right? But you still have the debt to pay to society, right? And it's got to be more than just paying the court cost. You got to be punished with some kind of loss of freedom in order for you to pay the damages that you did upon society. Even if the person forgave you. Okay, that's great. They forgave you, but you still did the crime, see? So all these people out here saying, oh, if that was Hunter was my son, I'd pardon him. Well, if Hunter was my son and he was 50-something years old and he did all this, I would tell him, you're just one stupid-ass son of a bitch for going out here and breaking the law like this at 50-something years old, and you need to pay the price for every damn thing you did. And I love you, and I hate it for you, but, you know, I've been telling you for decades to get off the drugs, get off the crack, straighten your life up. And you never listen. I told you, we've been in arguments about this. We've had fights about this. You've disowned me about this because I've warned you about how your life is going to go if you keep down this trail. And you made your own bed, and you're 50-something years old, and now you have to make up, pay the penalty. You made it. You got to pay it. And that's what a real man does. That's what a real father does. There's people all over the place right now. Look at all the January 6 people that did nothing, that's in prison. Well, we'll fix that. We'll pardon all the J6 people that didn't do nothing wrong. And we can also pardon Hunter that did 190 crimes against the American people out here. And luckily, I mean, we don't even know if somebody did die. You know, when you do drugs, you didn't make the drugs. You didn't grow the drugs. You didn't mix the drugs in the lab. You don't know how strong the drugs are. You don't know what's in the drugs. So every time you take the drugs, you could die. And every time Hunter was doing the drugs with all the hookers, all the prostitutes, all the this, that, and the other people, we don't know if they partied all night and one of the guys said, hey, let me have one big last hit, or let me do one of those pills to, you know, calm me down so I can sleep when I get wherever I'm going, and I'll see you tomorrow, bye-bye. And then the guy goes out, and next thing you know, 2 hours later, the guy's laying in a hospital somewhere, OD'd, dead or not. We don't know. We don't know any of that. And these type of people are a menace to society, a straight up 100% menace to society. What about all the drug dealers? What about all the drug dealers that the FBI and all these people knew he was getting drugs from? Were any of those people arrested? Were any of those people prosecuted? Okay, we're going to let Hunter go. Well, what about all the dealers? What about all the other people? What about all the prostitutes? No, no, no. Quit standing up. All you conservatives, quit standing up for a piece of shit that's 50-something years old, and you say, hey, I tell you what, if it was my son, 50-year-old something son, and he committed 190 crimes, I would pardon him too if I was the president. And you know what? Everybody would be pissed off at you just like they are at Joe Biden. And now, Joe Biden's got to pardon the whole damn family because a bunch of them are criminals. Now Joe Biden's got to pardon all the higher-ups in the DNC, the Barack Obamas, the Michelle Obamas, the Hillary Clintons, all these people. Now, Joe Biden's got to pardon everybody in the Democrat Party. And I don't know if can you be pardoned from a crime that you haven't even been convicted of yet. That doesn't even sound right. You haven't even been charged with the crime, but you're going to be pardoned. See that right there seems like an admission of guilt right there. And since they haven't been charged with a crime and they're given a pardon, isn't that immunity? Isn't that the same immunity that all the communist Democrats were hollering about, that Donald Trump should not have immunity? Donald Trump should not be immune from any of the laws of the land, even as president. But we're going to give everybody in the Communist Democrat Party immunity from any crimes that might arise out of this crap later. So it's a good damn thing that nobody's above the law, isn't it? Yeah. And I suggest that the conservatives get your heads on straight, because you need to reevaluate your life. If you want law and order and justice, then you need to know what the law is. And if you're a parent, you want your kids to be lawful people, and if they break the law, then you should be willing to turn the kid in if he steals $5,000 worth of something somewhere. Well, that ain't right. Why would I do that to turn my kid in if he did that? Well, because you're a good parent, and you care about the kid, and you don't want the kid to keep doing the crime and spend the rest of his life in prison. That's why you do it, because you love him. Letting him go, letting him out, giving him the pardon. That's not love. That's bullshit. Because letting them go doesn't make them better. They don't learn from the consequences, and they don't get better. And so that doesn't show that you care about them. Because when you care about them, okay, let's say, hey, you found out your son stole $2,000 worth of stuff. Okay, maybe you don't want to run to the police and tell the police that he stole all this stuff. But you damn sure want to warn him and tell him, if I ever find out that you're involved in criminal activity again, I will call the police on you. That's because if you don't, then they think you don't care if you break the law. And if you don't care if they break the law, then why should anybody else care if they break the law? See? Get your heads on straight. Get your heads out of your ass. Be real Americans. Read the Bible. Read what the laws are and what they mean. And read why we have the laws and why people get sentenced for crimes. But a lot of this, paying the price for doing the crime, is also paying a debt to society in which you're helping make worse when you go out and do crime. All right, guys, that's what I got for you on this one. We'll catch you on the next one. God bless and take care of yourself. You've been listening to the CJ Real Show.